Hi, the SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, September 26th. Well, we've had quite a nice stretch of weather here in the Mid-Atlantic region, but that is about to come to an end thanks to a cool frontal system that'll slide through the Mid-Atlantic region later on today and tonight, but then it'll stall out just to the south of the Mid-Atlantic region, and in that stalled out position, it'll allow for several waves of low pressure to ride along that front, basically from west to east along that frontal boundary zone, and that'll bring back the moisture into the Mid-Atlantic region later on Thursday, right through Friday and into the weekend, and perhaps even into the early part of next week. There's just not a big push in the upper atmosphere to clear this front through the area, and once it stalls out, it'll set the stage for unsettled weather here in the Mid-Atlantic for late this week, right through the weekend. Well, let's take a look at the latest surface map. Here's that frontal system right now. It's actually a very slow mover already. It's depicted here as a stationary front across the lower Great Lakes and the Midwest here. It will slide slowly south and east today and basically set up shop something like this in this position right here by tomorrow, and that'll basically be stationary there for a couple of days, allowing for waves of low pressure to ride from the west to the east right along that frontal boundary zone, and it looks like quite an unsettled period setting up here for the Mid-Atlantic region. Farther to the west, kind of unsettled right now across the central Rockies, where there can be some more showers and thunderstorms today and tomorrow in places like Denver, Colorado, and rather typical weather out west along the west coast with morning low clouds and fog burning off to some afternoon clearing skies. Tropical storm Miriam, we'll see that in a moment on satellite, is still spinning right off of Baja, California. There's still some signs that some of that moisture could move into the southwestern part of the U.S. or even to the south central part of the U.S., so we'll monitor that over the next day or two. Well, here's the Mid-Atlantic radar loop, and there are some showers and thunderstorms setting up across the Ohio Valley and into the western part of Pennsylvania right now. D.C. will be dry for the next several hours. It can be an afternoon shower or a thunderstorm there. Most of the rain there will not come until later on tonight and tomorrow, and then Friday as well. And meanwhile, from the Pennsylvania-Maryland border on north, there certainly can be a shower or a thunderstorm at just about any time today. However, much of the time will be rain-free, and there can even be occasional peaks of sunshine, especially down across northern Maryland and the northern Virginia region, where the partly sunny skies will be the rule for today. But all this is associated with that weak frontal system that is slowly driving to the south and east towards the Mid-Atlantic region, and it'll stall out, and that'll set the stage for an extended period of unsettled weather. Well, here's the latest infrared satellite loop from the University of Wisconsin website, and we are getting some data coverage here over the Atlantic as NOAA has put in place a backup satellite to take over for the currently troubled GOES 13 weather satellite. First of all, down in the southwestern corner of this image here, we have Tropical Storm Miriam. Again, some of that moisture is already moving across Mexico into Texas, and that'll continue over the next 24 hours or so. Most of the moisture will stay east of California and Arizona and New Mexico and head into the south central part of the country. You know, here's a wide band swath of clouds here now associated with that frontal system, and this will basically set up as this kind of a pattern over the next several days, where there will be basically a wide swath of clouds associated with this stalled out front that'll be kind of lying in this position here from the west to the east, with occasional waves of low pressure riding along that frontal system. And probably right now the best chance of significant rain might be late Thursday night and Friday here in the Mid-Atlantic region, with one of those waves of low pressure moving right over the Mid-Atlantic region by Friday. Well, let's take a look at a couple of computer forecast maps. This is from last night's 0Z GFS model run, the Global Forecast System Computer Forecast Model, a U.S. model. And this is for the upper atmosphere, 500 millibar for tomorrow morning. This is where the steering currents are, and we can see here what's happening here with respect to this particular frontal system right now. Very weak flow of air here from west to east, not much push behind this frontal boundary that will be again dropping into the Mid-Atlantic region. So once it sets up here, the weak upper air winds will flow parallel to this frontal system, and that action will lead to a stalled out or stationary front, and that'll pave the way for unsettled weather here in the Mid-Atlantic region. There's even kind of an upper level trough here that'll ride up along this frontal boundary zone. That'll set up for the late week and weekend. Here's the same time frame as that last computer forecast map. This is for the surface conditions tomorrow morning, and here again we have this frontal system now by this time right cutting across southern New Jersey, Washington D.C. area right into the Midwest, and here you can see the bands of precipitation put out here generated by the GFS model, and again that'll kind of be the same scenario for a few days here in the Mid-Atlantic region. This high pressure area is not driving to the south and east. In other words, it's not pushing that front farther to the south and east. It will be moving to the north and east, and that'll help to set the stage for this front to stall out just to the south of us here in southeastern PA. Let's jump ahead 24 hours. This is Friday morning. That high right here is again moving to the north and east and not pushing that front any farther south. And here we have kind of a more impressive looking area of showers and perhaps an embedded thunderstorm or two developing here Friday morning, and that'll move into the Mid-Atlantic region during the day on Friday and cause periods of rain. It'll be a cool day. Temperatures will very likely hold in the 60s on Friday with those periods of rain, and of course it'll be cloudy all day, probably with a northeast flow keeping us quite cool. And that'll move off the coast, but then there's more moisture on its heels here for Saturday and Sunday. So quite an unsettled pattern setting up thanks to a frontal system that'll stall out in the Mid-Atlantic region, and it'll be unsettled basically for the late week and weekend with cool conditions and occasionally wet conditions. That's it for now for the SIweather.com. I'm